Hello and welcome to the Marketing Stream panel. Today I've been joined by four amazing people from the property industry, two suppliers and two agents. Let me start by introducing the suppliers. We have Ben Sellers of Starbury. Starbury are creators of awesomeness. They design some of the most beautiful websites and they also deliver digital solutions across the whole property sector. Next we have Heather Staff of Spectre, or should I say Street, because of course, as you may have seen in the top 40 that Simon Whale presented, Heather's company has developed a completely new, amazing product. If you haven't seen it, you need to check it out. Mark Ross is here from Redbrik. Mark runs, I think, one of the most awesome businesses from a marketing perspective. An estate agent that really understands brand, and indeed that's probably because Mark didn't come initially from an estate agency background. He's got a marketing business as well. And then somebody else who didn't actually start from the estate agency came out of the city. She was a banker all those years ago, dealing with high net worth individuals. The queen of Royal Tunbridge Wells estate agency, Deborah Richards. So it's amazing to have you here, and thank you for your time, and thank you for contributing as well to this amazing event that we've put on today. Ben, I'm going to start with you. You sat on the panel actually with Heather last year, and Ben, you said the future is video. If you're not into video, you really will struggle. I mean, have you got a crystal ball or something? Because I mean,
no, it does make me wonder.
But I know you've got this idea that it's more than just video, isn't it? This whole virtual piece. Would you like to expand on that?
Yeah, I think that what I was really driving at is I actually went on the Rightmove Hub afterwards, and I said, it's video everything, and I think it's really about there's a massive opportunity now. We've all really learnt from these last few months to not hide away. Not sit behind a phone. I've been preaching that we need to turn our cameras on in whichever way we feel fit. But I think what people need to do is embrace this virtual environment. It is 100% here to stay. And in effect, what I'm believing is that you need to actually have a video first strategy. And that means that your virtual environment is empowered with great content, whether you're going live, whether you're meeting people in person and you're on your iPad. So I think there's some really forward-thinking agents that are on your various panels and some great prop tech that are helping deliver some fantastic content, whether it's them personally, whether it's their properties and so on.
Absolutely, and I think it's really interesting what you just said there. I love that idea of video first. I remember going to Google some years ago and they're saying it's mobile first, which of course I think we've all embraced, but it's actually now video on mobile first perhaps. But Deborah, I wasn't joking when I said you're the queen of Tunbridge Wells. I mean, you are proper royalty. When I watch you walk up and down the pantiles there, knowing absolutely everybody. Community is a really important piece, isn't it? Particularly for you and your business.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think the video first is great, and what that of course does is could remove you slightly, and the reality is therefore you've got to find a different way to engage with your community and your audience. And it's actually just getting those basics right. So it's about when you have a buyer coming to you from London, telling them the best place to walk the dog and to have a coffee, and well, this is your particular type of thing you like to eat, so you need to go here. And it's about engaging with your buyers on that level, but also then with your sellers and showing that you are fully linked to your community. I think during lockdown, agents had a great time because actually we were there in our community, some of us. And we produced this guide to lockdown living, which told everybody where to get a takeaway and the shops that were open, and it went absolutely viral. And it's been amazing, the PR that we've had as a result of just showing how much we know our local community and we engage with it, and that expertise we've got is what buyers and sellers want to hear about.
And I suppose it is that combination of physical activities, but also how you can engage in terms of community from a viral perspective, or from a virtual perspective as well, which I think is that combination of the two. Heather, you deal with thousands of different estate agency branches all across the country, helping them to identify the next people to move, and that's both sellers and landlords as well. I know you developed the landlord product. You've seen some changes in agents' behaviour in the last few months.
Yeah, we have. We've actually really looked at it, and I'm actually very glad that Deborah's just said what she has, because it's a perfect example. So we've looked at what all of our clients have done, and we're in a really fortunate position because not only can we see the marketing content, as you say, that they're putting out there, but also the return on investment they're getting from that. So we're able to see what is working and what's not working so well. And what we have really seen over the last 6 months is a different level of success with the agents that are changing their content. And Mark, obviously, you change your content with Spectre about once a minute, which is brilliant. That's best in class. But what we've really seen is the agents who are regularly changing their content, and this could be content across all platforms, it could be website, it could be everything, seem to be getting much higher levels of success than those that aren't. Yeah. So I would say to anyone listening right now, have a look at your content. If it is the same that you were putting out there 12 months ago, you need to change it. And what I would say is reference the current environment. That lockdown example that you just gave, Deborah, absolutely perfect. You know, there's so much going on. And now I think there's a real opportunity for agents to capitalise on the fact that finally the public do want to hear from an expert in terms of, you know, how does the stamp duty change impact us? How does COVID? All of this.
And marketing, you highlight a really interesting point, because marketing, the fundamentals remain the same. As you're talking, I was reminded the worst job in a estate agency when I started. I won't tell you how long ago it was, but long enough. The worst job in an estate agency was changing the display in the window. Absolutely hated it. It was the worst possible job. But it's the same principle, isn't it? If your window looked the same back in the day, now, of course, your window is on your website and so on. But I know that actually it's not just about how you communicate that's changed. Mark, you've been looking at the whole proposition, the whole product, your whole service offering. We'd actually expand on what you've been doing.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it's something that we've talked about before in some of your discussions about how I think if people could move house by pressing a button, they absolutely would. And I think agents have got to get on board with the idea that their product has got to change as well. And so what we've been really looking at is to try and bring everything forward, combine our services with the legal profession as well. So we're getting our clients legally instructed at the point of marketing to try and really bring everything through and to really make it easy for our clients and really guide them through the process and not just be there on a transactional basis, but actually be there to walk them through that process so they have to do less. And actually we earn our fee and are able to justify our fee much greater. And I think we've seen the success of that.
And I know you've also got quite a radical idea. Some might say radical. I think it's brilliant in terms of how you're actually going to use your physical premises going forwards.
Yeah, we're in the process of launching our first sort of property and coffee proposition. So our next office on the ground floor will be a coffee shop first, and we're looking to develop that brand. We signed the lease on Tuesday, so we're really excited about that and bringing that forward. We really feel that our marketing has to be playing a part in the community, as people have said before, and by allowing people to come in, experience our brand, experience what we're about, have our products on display as well, we think will act as a real saviour for our branches, where in the future branches have always been questioned as to how viable they are. We think they're an integral part of our mix, because we want to bring people back into our branches and tell them about what we're doing. Really, really interesting.
And Deborah, you were saying to me before in one of our Property Academy sessions, and you're describing this importance of being different, but not different for difference sake, you know.
No, I agree. It's about, I mean, our premises look very different to a normal estate agent's, and I often say to people, we look different because we are different, but in a world of sameness, you need to have something that makes someone pick you over all the others they're hearing the same about. And so it's important to understand what is important for that particular person. And yeah, our virtual tours we do is a real point of difference. We do our first viewing is a presenter-led virtual tour, and it's just revolutionised our business. I've been doing weekly vlogs for ages, so my face is very much out there in the community. So it's about always thinking of little things we could do just to create difference in a world of sameness, really.
Yeah, no, I love it. Ben, you made the point last year again of how we've got to start thinking about 24/7, and not just in terms of our availability, but also in terms of our communications, in terms of the way that people are actually behaving and interacting. Are you seeing, from a digital perspective, changes that you know, has this been accelerated? Have you seen?
It's been incredibly accelerated, and I'm so excited. And it's leaders like Deborah and Mark who've embraced these channels and are actually witnessing incredible results. And I think that, you know, one of the things that people can actually start realizing is get these automations in place, but that doesn't mean that you can't keep updating what is going out. So while you're sleeping, there are people on your website. So when you come to the seller page, why sell through us? Why let through us? Where is the killer, you know, best lister or the best seller in your business? There on the video, selling whilst you're fast asleep, with your Calendly link to your Zoom, and you wake up in the morning and you've got calendar appointments booked in. Why wouldn't you do that?
I've been banging the drum. All of you as Property Academy members know this. I've been banging the drum that actually what we're going to be doing is recruiting people who are effectively presenters going forward. You know, the days of the somewhat sober, sort of slightly dour maybe surveyor, you know, walking around, you know, I feel is numbered. I see us actually going into an arena where you've got presenters who and people may be actually instructing that agent because of that presenter, that, you know, the local character becomes that. But I know, Heather, you've got a family background in estate agency, so as well as having a fantastic prop tech business that supplies so many different estate agents, you also actually were brought up in it, and I know you have a strong view around the importance of still being an expert.
Yeah, I do. I definitely do, and I think over the last 10, 15 years, and some might disagree with me on this, but there's been a general drift away from seeing estate agents as a trusted professional expert. And I think, obviously, it's awful what's going on right now, but what this is creating is an opportunity where I don't think the general public now think, oh, I know everything there is to know. I think right now they want to speak to somebody that knows what they're talking about and who knows how the things that are going on right now might be impacting their local property market. So I think we've certainly seen it in the last 6 months, a real sharp shift in the opposite direction to people wanting that advice. And I think we've got to capitalise it. We've got to get fresh content out there. We've got to project ourselves as professional, trusted experts.
Yeah, no, completely agree. And I picking up on that, so it's got to be real, as opposed to just stating I'm an expert, because unfortunately everybody is, and it's how then you actually convey that. And I think one of my favourite sayings is, don't tell me you're funny, make me laugh. You know, don't tell me you're an expert, be an expert, and it's how you can draw that in. Mark, I know that you have a view which is that estate agency is no longer perhaps a sales business, it's pivoted into more of a marketing business.
Yeah, I think it is one of my favourite sayings that we're a marketing business that happens to operate in property, and I've said that before, and I think never a true word spoken at the moment. I think we do need to be experts, exactly as people have said, and I think that is absolutely key. But showing that you're experts, I think, is being able to segment your message as well. And I think we've talked a lot about content creation and making sure the content is relevant. I don't think it is acceptable now just to market a property one way. You've got 4, 5, 6 different buyer types. There is nothing to stop us now, which is what we're starting to do, to segment our marketing per property to the 5 or 6 different buyer types through social media channels. In Q2 this year, with our just listed videos, we had over 3.1 million views of our properties on Facebook, which is just phenomenal because we have segmented the audience and people are seeing 3 and 4 different versions of the same property.
So when you say you segmented the audience, could you just expand on that? Because I know what you're talking about, but it's such a clever idea.
So what we would do is we would pick a property, and that might have a really great feature for a first-time buyer that we would pick up on and really push that message to what we believe would be the first-time buyer audience. What we would then do is then say, well, actually, what does that look like as an investment opportunity, and create the messaging around the investment and target that with a different set of audience characteristics. It might be somebody that's also downsizing. So again, we change the message. Now, I appreciate that is a lot more work than just writing one bit of a listing and pushing it out there onto one portal or 2 portals or whatever. But the results are there. If you happen to put in the work, and then what happens is that person sees you an expert because they automatically think you're marketing exactly what I want to hear. So you become the trusted expert.
And this plays completely to the idea that I've been working with all these guys and all of our members on for the last year of what I call CX 4.0, the whole new level of customer experience. And one of the key facets of that is what the customer wants is for it to be consistent and individual. And I love this idea that they're talking to me. It's as if they're doing that. But of course, not everybody, Deborah, is the right customer. Not everybody is the right customer, are they?
No.
You know, and you told me the other day, and what percentage of properties and clients do you turn down?
About 30% of people who come to Maddisons and say we'd like to list with you, we will politely extricate ourselves from the deal. And I suppose that's because of my background. So I came from the world, I used to work for Coops, the private bank, which was invitation only. And I always had this vision that to have a Maddisons board outside your house was a badge of honour, actually, and to say, you know, we've got a great property and we are highly motivated sellers. and we're going to get the best price in the road. And it was finding sellers who understood that ethos and would pay more for it. You know, you have to understand how your proposition sits in a market. And one of the things I used to find was estate agents try to be everything to everyone, and someone wants to list, well, we'll take their property on. It's kind of like, no, know what you do really well, know who you want to work with, and then do a phenomenal job for them and have the strength of your conviction to say no, so that when they talk to their friend who you might say yes to, that friend feels, well, there's no way I'm not now going to list with you.
I wish Seth Godin could be here in person. We're going to, of course, be meeting him later on today. But in conversation with Seth to talk about his session for the EAMasters, he was talking to me about what he calls the smallest viable audience. I think we'd previously termed it the smallest viable niche, but yeah, his is a better one than ours. But it is that you know who your clients are, and you also know who they're not. And what I love about this, Deborah, is that having worked that out, you can then gear your entire proposition, all of your messages, all of your content, all of your products and services to a defined group of people, as opposed to trying to be all things to all. And jack of all trades comes into mind. So I think that's a great thing. Looking forward, Ben, you're the man with the crystal ball. When we're sitting here in a year's time, what's something that I'm going to be saying? You called that a year ago. What do you see as being one of the big changes, the big developments as we move into the next normal from a marketing perspective?
I think that everything that's coming out of this whole conversation is there's no one thing to do here. You know, the embracing the real life. I think we're going to want to be doing more real life than we ever did in our lives because of what we've been experiencing. But we're going to get really good at the virtual as well. And we're going to also realize that there are a lot of channels. There are a bunch of channels. And in actual fact, to get a successful sale, to win an instruction, you need to actually touch those people across multiple different points along the journey. And that is really happening. I don't think that's going to be anything you're going to particularly hand to me, but I would say that is something that is clearly happening. And all the success that we're witnessing is from people who are embracing multi-channel approaches.
And what's been amazing during this period of time for me is just seeing just how much innovation, particularly from a marketing perspective, has been going on. It's been quite extraordinary where businesses have done. And Heather, I've got to say, there are 40 exhibitors in our exhibition hall, and truly, please go and see them. Make time today to go and see them. You can watch sessions on Catch Up. You've got to go and see some of these developments. And one of them in particular, if you haven't seen it, it's going to blow your mind. And this is the new product called Street that Heather and her team have created. It is, in the words of Ben Sellers of Starbury, it is properly awesome. on that note, I'm going to draw a close and thank each of you for giving your time today, for coming in, for sharing your thoughts and ideas. I am properly excited about the next normal. I know you are as well. Yeah. It's driving your innovation. We're accelerating through this period, and whether it's on the supplier side or whether it's on the agency side, I applaud all of you for the initiatives that you're taking, and also for coming today to share them with everybody, because that mindset of being prepared to share what you're doing, if you like, reveal your secret sauce, is something that I'm extremely grateful to you for, and I'm sure the audience is too. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you.